Hey, what's going on everybody? I want to thank you for coming to the first episode of Lost In. This is going to be something for the Lou Damon channel that I take you on a little adventure or some little piece of Brazilian information, just something to lose yourself in, a little distraction from the busy world that we have every day. Brazil, Germany, Japan, GM's plan for global supremacy. Hello, this is Lost In, and we're going to tumble down the rabbit hole of GM's T platform. To start this tale, we need to go back to a little time period known as the Roaring Twenties. The 1920s was a time period in U.S. history marked by economic prosperity, driven by post-war recovery and rapid gains in consumer growth. The 1920s had a distinctive cultural edge, both in music and fashion at the time. In 1923, GM partnered with Isuzu in relief efforts in the devastating aftermath of the Kanto earthquake. Through the 20s, this was a progressive time for GM. With large financial gains, General Motors was looking to expand into the Brazilian market. In 1925, GM founded General Motors do Brasil in São Paulo. GM do Brasil to this day is one of General Motors' largest and oldest automobile manufacturers. GM do Brasil has produced a whopping 17 million cars in that time. With the South American market locked in, General Motors was looking to expand their operation overseas. The next great step for GM to take was the European market. And the good old folks at GM were quite impressed with a little company that got their start back in 1862, making of all things sewing machines. Introducing Opel. At the beginning of the 1920s, Opel had grown from a little manufacturer of sewing machines to a cutting-edge automobile manufacturer. Opel was one of the first to utilize controlled testing. They constructed an oval racetrack for testing of their vehicles, and just about a year later, they opened it up for the public to race at. Come on, that's like having a rich friend that lets you play with his toys. That's so cool. GM was like, wow, I'm really impressed with you. Not only does Opel have swagger, they also have quality. And in 1929, GM took a majority stake of Opel, 80%, and just 4 measly years later, they took full control of Opel. Fast forward to the 1970s, and this automotive conglomerate monster was about to release their global platform. Isuzu, GM's Japanese arm, and Opel, GM's German arm, they were about to collide, gave birth to the global platform. The global platform revolutionized the automobile industry. The global platforms were vehicles that could use various components already established to fit a wide variety of body styles. Such components as axles, suspension, steering, powertrains, transmissions, bodies, all sourced from GM's parts bin, sold as rebadged or locally built vehicles. In 1972, GM's T platform was ready to unveil the first T car ever. The T car was delivered to the Brazilian market first, named Chevette Tubarão.
Perfect!
Obrigado! Now, this was a beautiful, elegant, baby muscle car. It's a baby muscle car. The Tubarão means shark in Portuguese. With clean lines and elegant proportions, the two-door sedan 4-speed manual gearbox, making a unimpressive 60 horsepower, which was low by industry standards. In the 1970s, horsepower was strangled back to around 90-95 horsepower due to new emission standards and government mandates. The 1970s era of cars suffered from lack of horsepower that the 60s predecessors didn't have to endure. The Chevette was an immediate success with the Brazilian market, and 6 months later, Germany got their own, underneath the name Opel Kadett C. The Opel Kadett C was later released as a hatchback. The T car was an instant success for GM, and they sold over 7 million worldwide. In fact, the T car was so successful in Brazil that until 1998 there was a variant being made down here, known as the Junior. Many of these cars are still on the road today, in no small part to the men and women that love them. The Kadett C and the Chevette are always crowd pleasers at any car show, ensuring generations to come to love these vehicles. Well, that's it for right now. I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and maybe share this with somebody that loves automotive. And until next time, Até a próxima. Tchau, tchau.